Well, it is a beautiful day here in Denton, Texas. As you can see, beautiful outside. Not as beautiful inside, guys. We are stuck. But welcome back into another week of SportsZone. I'm your host, Josh Conrad. We have a great show for you today. We'll take a look back at Villanova's national title win. We bring in our expert hockey guy, Joey Catalano, to break down the final week of the NHL and NBA season. And we take a look back at the first week of the MLB season. Here to help me break it all down is Derek Finch, Feltman. Guys, how are you doing today?
Terrific. How are you doing?
Doing right. I wish we were outside. It looks beautiful outside.
Sure does.
You keep talking about that, but
It looks very good.
there's nothing we can do.
We are inside, though. Now, guys, what were you doing Friday night? Because it seemed like all of Denton was packed inside the Super Pit as North Texas won the CBI championship 88-77 over San Francisco. Guys, what did you think about the win?
I thought it was terrific. I was actually Friday night on the court at the basketball game doing video for ESPNU. And I'll tell you what, it was a stupendous evening. I didn't know we had a home court advantage like that. Apparently the building was designed to retain sound and trap it, and holy smokes, 9,000 people show up and that place gets loud. I thought I was in Seattle.
Asher, what did you think
Where they
about
have
the game?
Starbucks. I thought it was a great game. It's great for the UNT program. And like you said, that building is made to trap sound. And imagine if they filled the whole upper deck.
Oh.
Because obviously at this point at UNT's growing storied history, they're not. But that lower bowl was packed, and it's exactly what you want and what Coach McClaslin has been kind of begging for all year. And the results speak for themselves.
And this year, it was their last postseason win before this season was 1942. So a very, very long time. Guys, what do you think about this season? It's a 20-win season. It's just kind of been an amazing turnaround for this team. What do you think it means for this program just this entire year to get to 20 wins, win a postseason tournament? What does it mean going forward for the Mean Green?
Yeah, it's something that's going to help them recruit. Obviously, it's not the NCAA tournament. It's not the conference tournament. It's not the NIT. It's a CBI. It's, but it's still something. And we were talking about before off the air, it's kind of a symbolic victory.
Yeah.
A championship's a championship, and you can use it as a recruiting pitch to help this program grow, which is certainly growing under Coach Mack the past couple years.
I think especially in the latter half of the year, this team really struggled to finish games. A lot of 1-point, 2-point losses that were just devastating and left you screaming, why can't you just get one more board? Why can't you just make one more free throw? And I think this tournament, I don't want to say they figured it out completely, but it seems like they really started to learn how to win. They started to trust the system, trust themselves and their own talent. So I think this win will be huge for them going forward.
And you talk about going forward, Roosevelt Smart, absolutely outstanding tournament. He was just impressive, the scorer. A guy who was previously committed to Loyola Chicago, who of course made the Final Four, but coming here still winning a CBI. What can we expect from him next year? Do you see him having the same level of play he had? And where do you think it goes for the Mean Green?
You mentioned his previous commitment, and they actually won the CBI in 2015, and look where they were in the NCAA tournament this year. So perhaps an omen for the 2021 NCAA tournament.
I like it.
Texas.
A little foreshadow.
But for Smart, he's building up him and Ryan Woolridge to have just incredible, a really important senior year.
Yeah, I agree with you. Roosevelt Smart's going to be huge next year, but I think another underrated aspect of this win was Sean Duffy, who didn't play most of the year, and when he came back, played lights out, played unbelievable. Struggled a little bit in the first game. I think he was like 4 for 14 something shooting, but definitely once he got back home, Roosevelt, Ryan Woolridge, Zachary Simmons, they're all coming back, baby. They're all coming back.
And it was outstanding what we did down low in that game. Free throws alone, we were 32 for 43. San Francisco just 19 of 30. We just dominated down the paint. Should be an exciting year. Grant McCaslin, definitely looking forward to next year. I want to switch over, though, because college football is king. And college football is coming up next for North Texas. Let's switch over. It was the Pro Day out at Apogee Stadium, held last Friday, right before the CBI. What did you guys think? We had Jeffrey Wilson, Keyshawn McClain were kind of the standouts. What did you guys see from them at Pro Day?
I'm glad to see our guys working out in an environment like that in front of pro scouts. If nothing else, just for the chance to get their name out there. And maybe a team needs a position. They need somebody like a Flushel to just fill in and make a spot at camp. The two big names, obviously, are Jeffrey Wilson and Keyshawn McClain, the safety. 4.56 and 4.57 40 respectively. You maybe want something a little faster out of a player like Jeffrey, but
well, his 40 time would have been the 13th fastest if he had run it at the NFL Combine.
Yeah, that's pretty good, which he didn't run due to an injury, I think. Yeah. So I think we should be encouraged at least that Jeffrey Wilson and Keyshawn could definitely make an NFL roster.
Yeah, 13th means only 12 players could have been better, but I think they had a great day at the Pro Day. And
it's
important
Asher.
for people to come out and see these guys, but also kind of like how the basketball team had people come out and finally see them play in that stadium and make some noise. They finally got out, see Apogee Stadium, which is beautiful. It's an amazing place, and it's good PR for a program that's quickly rising in Texas.
So would you say pro days are really important for a program like North Texas?
Absolutely.
Almost more important for the program than the players, who already kind of know where they're going to get drafted if they're going to get drafted.
All right, so I'm putting you guys on the spot here. Jeffrey Wilson, Keyshawn McClain, are they going to be on an NFL roster this year?
Jeffrey Wilson, 100% book it, will be. I don't know if he'll get drafted. I don't think he will, but I 100% believe he will be on the Dallas Cowboys, at least for training camp, because they love them some Texas running backs. You look at Lance Dunbar, former alum, Jameez Olawale, former alum. They took Ben Bellina, Johnny Manziel's old guy a couple of years ago. I don't know if he'll stick around, but I guarantee you Jeffrey Wilson will be on the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm going to go yes, Wilson, but neither I think are going to get drafted, but I think Wilson will get on a team, at the very least, a practice squad.
I like it. I think Jeffrey Wilson's the type of guy, maybe somebody gets injured, he comes in, fills a spot. I think it could be very exciting. I'm very excited to keep going. But coming up next, we take a look back at the Final Four in the national title game right here on SportsZone.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Oh, emojis. I thought the conversation just got dumber.
Ugh, internet trolls, just ignore them.
I like you just the way you are.
I believe in you. She's a hugger. Give her a squeeze. Help up the hand. Ah, there you go.
Thanks, mate.
You're killing it, Jane!
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to SaveTheFood.com.
Well, Villanova won their second national title in 3 years this past Monday with a 79-62 win over the Michigan Wolverines. Now, guys, let's bring it back to the desk. As you can see there, Villanova, an impressive performance. They even got the ball stuck in the net. Still won the game, though. Guys, what do you make of this Michigan-Villanova and the Nova win?
A wedgie as a design piece of the highlight package. I guess I'll go ahead and use that symbolically for the tournament because a lot of things got stuck. A lot of you-know-what hit the fan. Going into this tournament, we didn't really have a lot of powerhouses like Kansas, Villanova. Obviously, those are 1 seeds that made the Final Four, but we had an 11 seed, and we had a lot of double-digit seeds win games. So I thought this was a really, really fun tournament.
Yeah, you know, at the start of the tournament, nobody really seemed to know what was going to happen, and I guess that's true of any March Madness. That's why they call it March Madness. But really, the national championship ended up being just sort of a continuation of what Villanova had been doing the whole time. They averaged a margin of victory of 18 points. They were blowing people out. They were destroying them. They didn't lose a game by less than 12. So to me, it wasn't really surprising that Villanova won the way they did.
Not as good descriptive as you calling the game a wedgie.
Yeah.
The tournament
That's
a wedgie.
What that is. That's a wedgie.
What did you guys see? And you said Villanova's just been massacring everybody throughout this tournament. Won every game by double digits. What specifically in this Villanova versus Michigan matchup? Nova hit 10 threes, Michigan just 3. What stood out to you guys as the big difference in this game?
Well, basketball is just sort of going the way of the three anyway, isn't it? So I think, like you just said, that had to be the biggest factors. 3 points they're more than 2, you see.
The math on this show is outstanding.
And he beat me to it because I was feeling really confident in my math today after that first segment. 12 minus 1 plus 113. Anyway, I think who actually played Nova the best in this tournament was probably Texas Tech. And I think that's kind of I know we're not Texas Tech and we're not even in Lubbock, but it's a similar kind of thing. Maybe a Texas school that isn't UT or A&M or even a little north in Oklahoma, OU, but a smaller program that can succeed in a big way in Texas. I hate to be selfish and talk about UNT again, but so I feel like that can kind of help us kind of maybe follow that path and be that team that can rise the ranks.
And you talk about us. Let's relate it back. Loyola Chicago, of course, made the Final Four, won the CBI. What did you guys think about their game? They obviously fell to Michigan 69-57. Just thoughts on their entire tournament run, the whole Sister Jean saga. Just what did you guys think about them?
I thought it was extremely cool. I thought the best part was Sister Jean picking them to go to the Sweet 16.
And losing.
Second best part is that's as far as she picked
Yeah.
them. Like, she's supposed to be their ultimate motivator, which Sweet 16, all right, great, but they kind of embarrassed her. They made her look bad. Instead, they got to the Final Four.
Yeah, I'm generally a fan of Cinderella teams. I know some people don't like Cinderella teams making it that far because they want to see the big, powerful teams compete, you know? But I think a story like Loyola Chicago is great. It's great for the sport. It's great for the school especially, and even great for the city of Chicago. And I can only hope that UNT has a similar Cinderella story coming up here in a couple of years.
We'll see. I think that's going to be a no, but we will definitely see. I'm going to throw some more math. You guys have both given me some math stats.
No multiplication.
Villanova, 2 out of 3 now they've won national championships. That is 66%. On the 66.66
yeah, you gotta round
on the
up.
dot. Maybe you round up 66.67. But let's bring it back to this Villanova program. Outstanding. Jay Wright, he's now 542, 250 overall. He's been at Nova since 2001, really built this program up. Of course, national title in 2009, or Final Four in 2009. Titles the past 2 out of 3 years. What do you think about this Villanova program? Are they kind of now on the forefront of blue buds in college basketball? Just what do you see out of this program even going forward after this year?
You know, people want to throw the word dynasty around, you know, and I think when you get to 3, you can start talking about dynasty. I think 2, you're a really good team. 3, you're a dynasty. But, you know, it's going to be madness all over again next year. Will they repeat? Will they even make the Final Four? Heck, they could lose in the first round. It's March Madness. So are they going to be the dominant team for years to come? Have to see.
You know, the NBA, it's like there's 2 to 3 teams every year that have a chance to win it. So it's kind of refreshing in college to have the opposite, where the games actually kind of matter. And it's not just going to be the same teams in the end. I'm really enjoying it. I think that Villanova will go in as one of the favorites next year, along with, the Duke. And Arizona will have another great class, even though they did lose some in that scandal for whatever reason, because he was innocent. But I think it's really fun that you don't have Titans that are just rolling through these teams.
Well, we will definitely see what happens next year. But coming up next, our in-house hockey expert, Joey Catalano, joins us, talk NHL, and even a rare appearance from Kyle Youmans to help us break down the end of the NBA season.
Here we go. We're going to go out there in the rain. You're going to get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh, yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
How's your hair? Is it pretty?
Daddy.
It's pretty.
Maybe I'll say that. Maybe I'll say that.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Here's your check. You got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Well, we have a special treat today as a couple of SportsZone veterans join us here at the desk. Joey Catalano, who's been on here a lot this year, and a very rare appearance from Kyle Youmans. Now, guys, if Joey's here, I think everyone knows what we're talking. We're talking the NHL. Now, guys, it is currently a push to the playoffs. The round one begins April 11th. I can't tell you how excited I am for the NHL playoffs. Not very excited. But right now, there's kind of storylines in the NHL. You got Vegas. They've won the Pacific. Washington's won the Metro. 2 division titles down. We still have the Central and Atlantic divisions up. Guys, who is going to win these divisions?
Well, I mean, if you want to start in the West, I think Vegas is going to go really far in the playoffs. I really do. I mean, they've defied the odds this entire year. No expansion team has won as many games as they have. I'm sure there's a reason, a non-hockey reason why they've won so many home games this year, because I'm sure the visitors come and visit Vegas.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like they're going to have a strong presence in their home games, and I see them going at least the conference final.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas has been the golden child, the Golden Knights' golden child. It just had to be. But overall, you look at that Central Division. That's really been the strongest division overall in all of hockey. And right now, the Predators are up on top by 3 points with a game in hand over the Winnipeg Jets. So that looked like a golden child coming out of the Central Division. But I mean, the Predators are definitely the better team, and they're going to end up winning that division. Winnipeg will get one of the wild card slots easily, but the same thing with what early on I thought in the season. This is a Winnipeg team that doesn't have a whole lot of depth. They're very top heavy in their roster, and the Predators just have that postseason experience, and they have that type of swagger to them.
To piggyback off that, I think out of the West, you have to figure out which of these teams can beat Pittsburgh, because realistically, I know it's their third cup, but they are probably the cup favorite to come out of the East. I know Washington's playing real well. But at the end of the day, Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, two of the best players in the league. Yeah. You got Big Phil Kessel. It's just going to come down to who can play all 4 lines in a game against Pittsburgh, and I think that team's Nashville. So I think we can very well see a repeat.
Agreed.
Well, you stole my question. I was going to ask you if Pittsburgh had a shot at a three-peat. Kyle, what do you give Pittsburgh?
I don't think so. I think they have a chance of potentially going to the Stanley Cup Finals. I think Nashville's a better team. I honestly think Winnipeg's a better team as well. I think those are 2 teams in the Western Conference that are going to be able to go up and challenge a Pittsburgh team if Pittsburgh can even get out of their conference as well. I mean, I think there's a chance that Boston, who's been playing very well as of late, Tampa could potentially get there as well. It does.
Winnipeg
to a certain extent, though. We haven't seen a three-peat champion in the entire new era of hockey. I mean, it's been a long time since Pittsburgh has been able to or since really any team has been able to three-peat in a major sport. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying that they can't do it. I just don't think they will.
Okay.
So let's move this over. You guys talk teams in the playoffs. There's one team not in the playoffs, and that is the Dallas Stars.
Oh, don't.
A lot of Dallas. You guys both kind of gave sad faces.
Yeah.
What's the biggest reason they're not in the playoff seasons? Is it injuries? What's the biggest thing?
I tweeted a picture.
Okay.
It was the game, the Chutes and Ladder game, because I don't think there's any metaphor that's just that goes with.
We should have had you draw Chutes and Ladder.
No, please, no. But I've never.
Where's
seen
our graphic?
I've never seen a team with so many highs and lows in one season, and I know everyone's gonna blame the injuries on Mathot and Bishop as kind of what you need to blame things on, but at the same time, you need depth scoring from all 4 lines. You can't just have Radulov, Ben, and Sagan score their 30, 40 goals and be fine, because if you don't have your second, third, fourth line scoring, you're not getting a lot of goals, and that's where Dallas was able to excel in previous years, and that's kind of why they got to the playoffs 2 years ago.
Well, and one of the big things, you talk about that line with Ben, Sagan, and Radulov, those are 3 guys that didn't play very well together. Now, they're great individual players. They still put up just outstanding numbers over the season, but it was usually whenever they were split up into different lines to try and give a little bit of that depth into the scoring whenever you could rotate people in and out. Now, with, like you said, where does the blame go? Does it go to Coach Hitchcock? Does it go to the players who were out like Bishop and Method and players like that? But overall, I think you also, at this point, after the offseason that the Stars had, it was a video game type of offseason with the acquisitions they were able to make. You got to look at the general manager and Jim Nail. You got to look and see, are these the right moves that are being made? Is he spending the money the right places? Is he making the right acquisitions?
I agree with you. However, you can't put all the blame on Jim Nail. Like, a lot of Stars fans are confused as to why he didn't make moves at the deadline.
It's
the
true.
best player at the deadline was a 39-year-old Rick Nash, and the asking price was way too big. We have too many guys that are way too good down at Cedar Park. Justin Dickinson, Curtis McKenzie. I was not willing to give up a young guy like that in order to get a veteran,
past the prime. Yes, no, I agree completely.
So the Stars, you've said it's kind of been a shoots and ladders types things. You guys have gone into such a tangent on just the Dallas Stars. I'm feeling depressed, and I don't even care about hockey. Is this a team that next year can maybe rebound and get into the postseason? Just very quickly, quick thoughts.
We said that about this year.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
it's true.
You know, like, this team's going to break your heart. I mean, it is what it is. If I was to put money on it, I would say no.
You would say maybe.
Maybe.
You
can't say maybe. But
here's the thing.
I'd say no.
If something is going to turn around, if something's going to change, there's going to have to be a complete mindset reversal. Okay. Being in that clubhouse, being in that locker room, these are guys that throughout the season kind of played as the victim. They kind of were saying, oh, we've got to fight our way into this. Poor us. We have injuries here. We got injuries there. And in talking to those guys, they don't have that belief that they're one of the best. Even Tyler Seguin, who's one of the best forwards in the entire league, had those moments where he was like, oh man, I got to be a little bit better because I haven't played my best. True, but you're still one of the best forwards. Figure it out, put it together. You're one of the better teams on paper. Go and win some games, especially some of those close ones.
I have to cut you guys off.
Sorry.
You guys are great. There's to everybody who likes hockey. But coming up next, baseball season is in full swing, and the Texas Rangers are already off to a lukewarm start. We overreact to the first week of the MLB season right here on SportsZone.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
I understand. I know it's not your typical resume.
Okay, well.
But candidate. But I've been working double shifts just to pay for books. I've been raising my 2 little brothers. I'm determined, driven, motivated. Isn't that what you're looking for?
Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be?
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Okay, so we drowned the fire.
Yep.
Stirred it. Drowned it again. And now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. Already posted it.
Well, the MLB season is just a little under a week old, but it's now time to make vast overreactions based on a very small sample size in a sport where the large sample size is the biggest factor of the sport. Let's go ahead and get to it, guys. Now, as you can see, there are the Rangers. There's one of their highlights. There weren't many in the first week of the season. The Astros took 3 out of 4 from the Rangers on that opening weekend. We welcome you guys back up to the desk. Now, we're going to get into the Astros and Rangers a little bit later, but I want to get first, what are your just general thoughts around the league from the first week?
First is my microphone. I'm just kidding. See what I did there? I interacted with that guy. I think that it was a really fun start of the season because the first pitch of the year, Ian Happ hit a homer to right field against the Marlins, a team that was expected to be super, super horrible. And the first pitch of the year, they gave up a home run on national TV. Like, how great was that? What a symbolic start.
I don't think he's listening to it.
You're not? Okay. The Marlins gave up a home run. No, okay. I thought that was a really cool start. And the great thing about opening day is people pretend to like baseball, and then a weekend they remember how boring it is, and they come back in October.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm glad your mic's on. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of one of those people, you know, opening day starts, and I'm like, yeah, baseball's awesome. I'm American, right? Sorry, regained my focus.
What did you guys think of Shohei Ohtani? The Angels player hit a 3-run shot yesterday, his first game in Anaheim. His pitching debut didn't go quite as maybe he would have wanted to, but what did you guys think just about his first week in the MLB?
I mean, it was pretty good, pretty stupendous. It's a little upsetting being a Rangers fan that the Angels now got somebody else to go along with Mike Trout and Pujols and all the other stuff they got. But, you know, a strong showing from the Japanese immigrant coming over to America and playing our brand of baseball.
Won his first start, too. I think it's really exciting that Mike Trout, the best player in the game, is getting some help because a lot of times superstars in all sports don't get that help. But the Angels went and got Ohtani and Justin Upton last year at the non-waiver deadline and added Ian Kinsler, who I know you're
My favorite player.
Yeah. So I'm glad to see that Trout's getting a team around him and can maybe, you know, actually get past the first round of the playoffs.
Let's bring things back to the Lone Star State. The Houston Astros, they had a little bit of trouble revealing their ring ceremony. It didn't go quite as well as they wanted. Now, they did win 3 out of 4 of the opening series. They've been on fire since then. They're 5-1. This team looks amazing. What do you guys think about Houston? Is this a team that's just a lock to win the World Series this year? They've got so much talent. Springer looks great. Correa looks great. Not Correa. What do you guys think about the Astros this year?
You know, I think it's not a done deal, but they're my pick to repeat because who have they lost? They didn't lose anybody major, and they added on Garrett Cole. They still have Verlander. They're still very young.
You can see they couldn't get that banner
off. They couldn't get
the
banner up, but they can sure pitch. A lot of these guys haven't even come into their primes yet, so it's scary to think what they could be. Will they get dethroned maybe by the Yankees and by Giancarlo Stanton? Maybe, Asher, maybe.
I don't know why he's whispering to me. I think that, first, that's the only thing that's gone wrong for the Astros.
Yeah, that's the one little, like, tiny flaw
They
in their
are
season.
the perfect team, and it's really fun to watch, even as somebody who grew up a Rangers, you know, fan. It's so great. I'd say, you know, the Cubs preceded them, the Royals. Those teams weren't really built to repeat. The Astros are not only built to repeat, they got better, and they're young. You know, Bregman, Correa, Altuve, Springer, all young, Keuchel, McCullers, and then they add Garrett Cole, and they're probably going to add somebody else because they still have their top prospects, Kyle Tucker. It's jealousy is what I feel for the Astros.
And Garrett Cole looked outstanding. Went 11 strikeouts in 7 innings versus the Rangers. Justin Verlander has 14 strikeouts in 11 2/3. The teams looked amazing. I do kind of wonder if maybe they're going to be so good and so hot at the start of the season that once they get to July, they kind of get bored with it a little bit, and it's just they've already got the division locked down, and it's hard to kind of get back in the swing of things once September rolls around. We saw that with the Rangers in 2012. Let's go to the Texas Rangers. It hasn't been a great start, 2-4. It's just kind of been some games the offense isn't there, some games the pitching's decent. Cologne looked good in his one start. What do you guys think about the Rangers? Is this a team that's destined to rebuild, destined to sell at the deadline?
The Rangers should have started rebuilding yesterday. Last year, they were in a tough spot because they really don't have any assets. When they were on the up and up, to get Jonathan Lucroy, it cost them Lewis Brinson and Luis Ortiz. To get Cole Hamels cost them pretty much all the prospects they didn't give for Jonathan Lucroy. They're in a tough spot because they have a really poor MLB roster and a minor league system that isn't very strong. So the guy to trade, I know we disagree a little bit on this, you got to get as much as you can for guys like Beltre or Elvis. God, they won't trade Chu. Nobody's going to take that contract, but Beltre.
Yeah, very quickly, Derek, what do you think? Are we selling at the break? Or?
I think, man, it just seems like yesterday that we were one swing away from winning a World Series, and now are we talking about rebuilding? I agree with Asher. It should have happened already. I don't know why there's been this misconception that the Rangers are strong competitors when I really haven't had that vibe for a couple of years now. Should they rebuild? Yes. Will they trade Beltre? I don't think so.
No, they won't.
We'll see. I know a lot of Texas Rangers fans would be sad. But that is all the time we have today. Thank you to Derek and Asher, Joey and Kyle for joining us here. Thanks to everybody behind the scenes. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at NT SportsZone. Check us out on YouTube, NTTV Sports, for all our past episodes. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next week.